Walk That Door podcast. Because in this universe, you need to realize that sometimes the universe is not conspiring against you, it's conspiring with you. And it constantly gives you doors of opportunity to walk through. So sometimes all you have to do is walk that door.
Ow.
So this is very, very, very cool. Sorry. And very, very, very surreal. I have Morgan here with me. Thanks for being here, Morgan. What's going on? You don't seem nervous at all.
I'm so nervous. This is not in my wheelhouse. You know that.
You don't got to be nervous.
Attention just stresses me out, so sorry, but I'll try. I love you too much to not do this, so here we are.
Well, I pulled in all my chips. I cashed in all my brownie points I had with you for this one. I'll make sure I'll stop by in Gypsy Fix and buy my mom something for Christmas.
Well, and remember, my son loves you as well. You treated him like a little brother, so that's huge. Like, that means the world.
Yeah, he is a little brother to us, actually.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start. Let's talk a little bit. I know, as nervous as you are, this is a podcast about you. You know, a podcast where I try to shine the light on people that I personally find amazing, and I find hardworking, and I find interesting, and I find like a staple of our community. So I think all of those check boxes are you. Like, not only are you a great worker, not only are you devoted, not only did you manage to get all these little establishments and make them into one big thing that now draws a lot of people to Flossmoor. You did it all while being an amazing single mother, and that's fucking props for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Give her rumps.
So tell us how this all started. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing. Do you have any sisters? Do you have any brothers?
That's a big one. I do. I have a sister. Well, I actually have two sisters. My dad's been married a few times. I have a sister that was from my mom and dad's first marriage, who is 3 years younger than I am. And then my dad's second marriage, I have a sister in Las Vegas who's 10 years younger than I am.
Okay. Vegas.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, she's pretty cool, the one out in Vegas.
I was going to say, I hope so.
It's the coolest place to live.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to live there, but it's a fun place to visit.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I've never been to Vegas before.
Ever?
You
gotta do that.
Oh, it's so fun.
That's crazy. I've not been around much, Alan, but I've been to Vegas so many times.
I've never been around much.
Walk That Door
Definitely.
podcast, going to Vegas,
I was
Vegas
there
trip.
for my 21st birthday.
2024.
I could just keep going. Like, you gotta go. Make that like a priority.
Can I go and visit your sister?
I mean, sure.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, she's real cute.
I'm totally kidding,
She's
Morgan.
real cute.
But yeah, speaking of Vegas, so you have two sisters. Father was multiple married. And then let's talk about, okay, so where did you grow up? Did you grow up around here? Where'd you go to school?
I grew up in Frankfurt.
Oh, so you did grow up around here.
I did. But back
Lincoln
in the day
Way?
when it was, yes. Back in the day when there was East and West, your first 2 years you did at East that was in Frankfurt, and then junior, senior year was at Central in New Lenox. It was like cornfields out there back then. Like, when I got there now, I'm blown away at how much it's grown. It doesn't even seem like it's just not the same place.
How many Lincoln Ways are left? Not a lot, right?
Just two. It's still two. I think one closed, but they still have two. I don't really know how they divide them up now, but
I think they were almost making the Lincoln Way southeast, but it was like just for Mexicans, but I don't think it worked out. Like, yeah, it didn't.
I wonder where all the
that's
black
problem with
ones
that
went
area,
to
though.
now.
Like,
Right.
guys,
You
that's
said
why I
that.
moved to Flossmoor, truth be told. When I graduated from high school with 1,200 kids, there was not one kid in my graduating class that did not look just like me. And that's weird. Like, that's not what the real world looks like, and that was a huge
That homogeneous
push.
mixture.
Yeah, like, it's why I wanted to raise my kids in Flossmoor, why I've stayed here. It's not been easy to stay in Flossmoor. Our taxes are brutal. It's been tough, but it was so important to me for my kids to grow up in an area where they saw everything, because that's what the world looks like. I think they've benefited from it. I've benefited from it. I don't want to live somewhere where everybody is the exact same.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
first off, that's fucking amazing, Morgan. And I think this is why we all love you. I think this is why you have what you have and why people gravitate towards you and why Gypsy Fix is working. You are just this all-encompassing ball of energy, you know, and like it's really cool. It's really fascinating, because so are all of us here. So, like, you know, we're all in the same energy, I would say, same energy vibration, same wavelength. But with that being said, I know the answer to this, but you're saying, oh, so you have kids? How many kids do you have?
I have two kids. I have a son who's 18 and a daughter who's 15. And I know all parents think this about their children, but they're both fantastic. Like, I literally every day of my life ask myself how I got so lucky to have two kids that are as great as they are. They're both just, I don't know, they're my whole world.
That deserves a clap, Lola.
Give her rumps.
because I 100% agree. I 100% agree with you.
Even the teenage years, which I was dreading, to be honest.
Oh,
I remember
Jesus.
when they were younger, I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm going to be the worst mom when they're teenagers. I don't like teenagers. Turns out I don't like teenagers. but
Teenagers
mine are
get out of my
so
store,
cool.
right?
Yeah, but not mine.
I don't want teenagers in my store.
You hear that,
I don't
y'all?
want
She
teenagers
I
around
enjoy
me.
this.
Teenagers.
I really do. I mean, every now and again, my daughter can be a whole lot, because she can be moody. She's 15, but like, she will be my best friend in no time.
Oh, yeah.
My she'll be my best friend in no time. That's cute. Yeah, because Dimitri's your best friend too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
That's a good best friend to have, too.
So, and we won't dwell too much, in your past, obviously, and we won't have to talk about anything that makes you uncomfortable. But let's fast forward. That's how you grew up. 2 sisters, and then obviously you have 2 kids, and you are divorced at this point, right? So you're not married anymore.
No, I've been divorced for about 4 years.
So, and just so people know, I've actually known Morgan since I was much, much younger. I think I met Morgan when I was 18, 19. I'm not going to say how old I am now. It's been a few years, baby. It's been a few years.
You're real grown up at this point.
It's been a few years. I remember you guys used to come visit me at John's Bistro. You remember that when I was the manager at John's Bistro?
Of course.
That was crazy. And I remember Dee being so young. Love Dee. It was so cute. It was nice. So anyway, I've known Morgan for a long, long time, and I've known Dimitri for a long, long time. And then I kind of I stopped going to judo and jiu-jitsu, life trips us apart, so I didn't see him for a while. And then, boom, Dimitri starts working with us. And then I reconnected with my little brother, and that was awesome.
That was great. Like, I'm so grateful for the relationship that you guys have, created with him, and the way you treat him, and the way that he views you. I mean, that's been so important, because as a parent, I think that one of the biggest things is you just can't help not to love people that love your kids. And especially when they're great people like you and everyone else over there, like, it's been so, I don't know, I can't say enough. Like, I appreciate it, and I know you didn't do it so that I would appreciate it. You did it because you love them and it's what you wanted to do, but you just can't have enough people in their lives that care about them.
Yeah, shout out to you, D.
Yeah, D, you were here when we first started this podcast, and I'm going to put your picture up on our Instagram because I have a picture of you in our podcast. So you're one of us. Shout out to D in Florida. Good luck in college, buddy.
Still in the text thread, too.
Yeah, he still is part of our text thread. So okay, so let's move forward. How did Gypsy Fix become a thing, Mark? Like, where do you go from? So okay, you had 2 kids, you get divorced. Is that when Gypsy Fix started, or were you already?
No, that was crazy. I was crazy thinking that was going to work out initially. I was getting divorced. I had been doing a lot of residential staging, interior design work, and there was just so much travel, and I knew, like, if it was going to just be me at home, that was going to get tough. So I was thinking, like, how can I change what I'm doing but still do it and be closer to home, because at the time, my kids were 4 years younger, and I don't know, it was just me. I needed to be around. So
Gypsy Fix came out of the divorce.
Well, yes. I mean, I started creating the store while we were going through our divorce. It was nuts. I took on a storefront and thought it would be just kind of like a design studio, somewhere I could bring clients. It was home stuff initially in that small space when I was right next to you guys initially. Remember?
I remember. You're much closer.
And then I was open for, I think, 3 days, and then COVID hit and the whole world shut down. And I remember
Jesus.
at the time, like, holy shit. Like, I had to remind myself on a daily basis that this wasn't just happening to me, because it felt like it was. Like,
Yeah.
No, I was gonna
Not
say,
just
you know those moments where you just look up and you're just like,
Yes.
you get this one, God.
Yes.
It's like, you know what, God,
Right.
you get this one.
Was everybody.
You so,
Oh, I was
and I
terrified.
don't mean to laugh at your misery, but
Well, it's funny now, but I mean, I remember when that happened thinking, like, all right, there's no way I'm coming out of this. Like, being closed for 3 months, already being broke as hell going into it. Like, most of my inventory in my first store I made because I didn't have the money to do anything but that. Like, it was furniture that I refinished myself, that I found at Goodwill, or picture frames I picked up at a garage sale. Like, I had literally nothing. So we shut down for 3 months, and our community was so great. So many people reached out and they're like, "Hey, I know the store isn't open, but can we drop off a hutch for you to refinish for us?" Or just little things like that ended up being big things that were enough to keep me afloat for 3 months. And then when I reopened, it just got, like, busier and busier and busier. And within 9 months, I realized that little space that I started in wasn't going to do, and I wanted to expand.
would you call it your baby? Because after 9 months,
yes.
because after 9 months, that baby came out.
Man, but
I'd
it hurt a
say
lot
that.
worse than having a
Baby was
baby. I'll
overdue.
tell you.
But
Holy
that
cow.
one hurt though.
Baby was overdue,
It
damn.
was crazy.
So, and I don't mean to laugh at your misery.
No, it's okay. It's
but,
funny
like,
now.
So it is it is funny.
It is.
I mean, we have
You have to laugh.
I mean, I
You
laugh at
can't
myself
laugh.
too,
You
but
have
this is
to.
why I love you, because you
Yes.
understand. You understand comedy.
Yes.
You understand what comedy is.
Absolutely.
Matt, here we go. You understand what comedy is. Comedy is getting divorced.
Here we go.
Getting divorced.
Oh,
losing half of everything, trying to reestablish yourself, wasting all of your money and starting a store, and then shutting down 3 days later because COVID.
It's just tragedy and time, y'all. That's all it is.
Yeah, it
Tragedy
was.
plus time.
Sucks, dude.
Like, I remember thinking, like, if this is karma, I must have been like a person that like killed puppies in my past life. Like, how is this even happening? Oh,
Jesus, I just got divorced. Let me put the little bit of money that I still have left.
which
into
was
this.
nothing, by the way.
Oh.
It's character building, right?
There you go.
This podcast is gonna fail, so don't worry.
No.
But it's character building. It's character building. You know, like we learn. We're learning.
For sure.
And then you just invest everything, and then I could just see you being happy and preppy at the thing, and then you just see Fauci saying we're shutting everything down.
Yeah.
Fauci just going in. You need your boosters, and we're shutting it down.
Totally.
We're shutting it down.
We didn't even have no boosters at the beginning. We were just
we
like,
didn't,
no,
Alan,
you
remember?
just.
I don't even know if we really had a vaccine in the beginning, right? We
just
that
No,
took a
people
I don't
minute.
were
even think they
saying-
had a test.
No,
Right.
like people were saying.
Controversy, a lot of like.
It was the Wild West back then. It was like, yeah, just inject bleach into your
I mean, it
bloodstream.
still
That's
is though, kind of, right?
yeah,
It's
pretty
still a
much.
shit show, for being honest. Like,
Take
now
horse
people have
tranquilizer.
it again all over the place, and they're like, "What? Can this just be the flu now? Can we just move on?"
no.
I'm sorry, that was wrong. Apologies.
No, don't apologize. That's the podcast is about. Just about us having a good time. Cheers. Thanks for doing this.
Cheers to you
I
guys.
feel a little more comfortable.
I am, thank
Yeah,
you.
it's pretty
Yeah,
fun.
you
Good.
should.
Just kidding.
All right, so anyway, fill us in. So you started, that failed. You said you came back, and within 9 months.
Yeah, I wanted
It's-
a bigger space, but I didn't want to leave the street we're on because it's home, you know. I wanted to stay there. And the only space that was open at the time was what had been the old Coldwell Banker, which was 5,200 square feet. So I was in like 400 square feet, and that was the
And
only
then
empty space.
52. That's like
Right.
huge.
So I kept telling our landlord, "Hey Marty, subdivide the old Coldwell Banker for me and I'll move." And he'd laugh at me and leave every Tuesday. This went on for months. And then finally one Tuesday he came in and he's like, "You know what, Morgan, I think you might be onto something." He's like, "If I subdivide for you, I'll make a deal." I'm like, "Okay." It's like, you have to develop and manage the space. And I remember at the time thinking, like, is this man crazy? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have any retail. I mean, I had zero experience in any of this stuff. I still don't. Like, when I tell you guys I wing it every single day, that could not be further from the truth, or closer to the truth than what it actually is.
They'd be the best leaders. People wing it every day.
I'm winging this podcast as we speak.
Right, but sometimes I think that's better. Like, right, if you put too much thought into something and you overthink things, that's when people stop moving forward. You get scared, you just stop. Sometimes I think it's just better to just jump in and just say whatever.
See, Matt?
No.
My motto is just the best way to do it is to do it, man. I don't know what you
Yeah,
mean.
put one foot in front of the other and just go for it.
Shout out to Nike. We don't want to get sued. We don't. He said just do it. We don't own that.
So as someone who like shops at your store a lot, I'm wearing a jacket
I
from
love.
your store. Yeah.
I love.
I would not have known that you had zero experience
Zero.
doing
No,
that before.
everything's so
Like,
homely when you walk
It is.
in.
It is literally one of the. It's literally one of the prettiest stores. Like everything is so like thoughtfully laid out.
Mm-hmm.
It is beautiful when you go in there. I have brought my family there. I was like,
Thank
we
you.
need to go shopping at the store. This is before I even knew who you were. I was like, I just love this store.
Thank you.
You know, and what you've done in that space, like all the different businesses that in there and everything. I literally love going there. Anytime there's a holiday, I try to shop local, and that's where I always start my Christmas shopping. And you know, Mother's Day, anything like that, birthdays, like I am going to your store first. Like that's just how it's been.
I
So,
cannot tell you how much I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. It's. I love it there, and you really like, for having zero experience, you. As someone going in, I would have never have known that. I would have thought you've been doing that your whole life.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
And
People could tell that we have zero experience.
No, I
when they
disagree
walk
with that.
into our
No, I
podcast.
disagree with that.
I gotta-
I think when you find
Oh,
something
sorry.
that you, no, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I think
you-
when you're doing something that you truly care about or it makes you happy, I think that those things come out even if you don't know what you're doing, right?
Because you're putting your heart into it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
I managed to bamboozle and rope two of my really good friends. They both have jobs. They both went to college for different things. They both have like careers, and now they sacrifice their Sundays to do this with me. My dream, my
Yeah.
baby, and
But
like.
that's amazing.
But now they're happy. They're invested, and like I'm just really grateful that every day, like every Sunday, they're still like, yeah, dude. Like even sometimes when I want to quit, when I want to falter, Matt was like. We're invested, you asshole. So like, yeah, my crew keeps me out, man. And I honestly shout out to Matt and Lola. I could never, ever, ever have done this without them. Even
That's
though
awesome.
it was everything I wanted to do, I would have never been able to achieve this if it wasn't for these two.
That's awesome.
But Matt, you were saying?
And I was saying, your store is like just very homely.
Homey, you mean?
Homey.
means
Oh, she said, "What's up,
Yeah,
homie?"
homely
She
means-
said, "Homie."
Homely.
Homely
Don't
means
ever
like
call a
plain.
person like,
Well, no.
Never call
like-
someone homely.
Okay, my bad.
homey, it's
Like
homey.
Adrian from
Cozy?
Rocky. Cozy. There
Okay.
you go.
Homeless.
Homesy. I'm gonna make a new comfy or
Well,
about
that's been the
it.
goal, truly. Like, I wanted it to feel warm and welcoming, and I wanted people, like anybody. Like, we've had a few boutiques in that area over the years, and I remember when I first moved to Flossmoor a million years ago, walking into it and being like, oh, this is a cute store, but this is a $90 sweater. Like, who can really do that regularly? And that was part of the change for me. Like, I wanted to try to have things in a price point where anybody, no matter what you do or don't have, can find something. It's probably why I'll have to work 7 days a week until the day I die, but to me, it's been worth it because I want people to be able to come back and it not just be like, oh, I went in there one time and bought a dress, but now I can't come back for a year.
I also just want to say shout out to Morgan for doing this because I've been asking her to do this for us for a while, even before this podcast was even a thing. But with that being said, she literally texted me saying she was going to be 2 to 5 minutes late and she was worried because she was finishing up work because she works every single day. What a strong woman. I just want to say shout out to Morgan. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
And also, talk a little bit about your boutique. Throw your name out there. Like, I think we mentioned Gypsy
Yeah,
Fix
like-
once, but yeah,
I mean-
so it's located in Flossmoor Road in Sterling.
Yep.
She's the owner of Gypsy Fix Boutique, which now encompasses a whole bunch of little different stores inside. And take us through.
So we've been there for almost 3 years now. My store in particular, I would say, it started out as home stuff, but I quickly saw that there was a need for like clothes and jewelry. Like that was what people were pulling. So that was why I wanted to move initially.
Put it.
So there's a lot of clothes,
Model it.
jewelry, candles, bags, home stuff, paint, art. I have a ton of art in there from all local artists, which has been fun because when they bring their art in, I give 100% of whatever it sells for back to the artist. And I think it's fair and beneficial because I get to have new things in the store on a regular basis
I would
that
have kept
didn't
20%.
have to pay for.
I would have kept 20%.
No, it's cool because
good
now it's fun.
25.
Like people
A
like
good
that don't
25.
even know me come in and they're like, hey, can we put our art in your store? And that means a lot. Like I think that's a really cool thing to be able to have and change out.
Inflation, COVID,
So there's that.
COVID prices, 10%.
I mean, maybe next year we'll see,
Right.
but
There we
I
go.
don't know.
I like
probably
that. All right,
not.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. We'll talk about it.
But yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. And then outside of my store, I would say takes the bulk of the space in general. But outside of my store, there's 3 more rows of stores and I think 9 different businesses. And all those businesses are individually owned by different people. I manage the building, not the people. Everyone who's been there, it's a commitment. It was never meant to be like a pop-up or a quick turnaround. It's a minimum 1-year lease. So everyone who does come in is pretty invested because it's not a quick,
Yeah.
you have to really try to make it work.
It's interesting you mentioned that because I've talked to the owner of GCA.
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah, I bought a shirt from him one day when I was just,
Right?
very cool guy. I'm happy that he got that expansion.
Me too.
Yeah, like he works really hard, like
does.
like
He
just like
does.
you. Like it's
Yeah.
funny as you mentioned that because like a lot of the people who own that are, like they're, like I talked to him. He was like, yeah, like I work 7 days a week just because I love doing this. I like making shirts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what, too? I think one of the reasons, or not just one of the reasons, but one of the biggest reasons why he does and is going to do so well is because he's just got such good energy.
He's a flower guy there now.
No.
No, he left. I think.
Talk about that another day. He was never there. It was a pop-up for one day during Flossmoor Fest. Long story. Lovely guy, too, but different situation.
Okay, my bad.
No, you're fine. You know what?
Well, we'll take this out in editing.
No worry.
No, we won't.
Edit this out.
No, we won't. That's
No.
staying in there.
We're taking this out in editing.
But yes, it's interesting. It's been fun, but I feel like also too with the way that it's got set up. So many people that have a dream that want to do something and have a store, they wouldn't do it because traditionally taking on a brick and mortar would be so ungodly expensive and so risky. But because of the way it's set up there, you still have the same amount of space that you would if you did have a single space, right? But it's giving people an opportunity to maybe try something, and without being terrified, because the overhead is not like it would be traditionally.
Yeah.
So, I think that that's a big part of why this has worked, and I think that's great. And I think, for the owner of the building, I think he's great and also crazy for letting me do this because, again, I didn't know what I was doing. But I think it was really cool that he finally agreed, this was a good concept and moved forward and trusted me enough to try to do it because he's done a lot for.
You know what's crazy? And like I every time I see you, you're always working. You're always the word isn't stressed out, right? But I think
Tired. Maybe a little bit, little.
maybe high strung
Yeah,
a little bit.
sure.
Yeah, not stressed out.
Yeah.
Like you look
You
like
can tell I don't do yoga.
You look like you need a meditation class.
Meditation,
maybe a
what is
Xanax.
that?
You know,
I've
like
tried.
maybe a Xanax
I've
and
tried.
some goat yoga.
Yeah, it's never gonna happen. I've tried.
Holistic
Never.
goat yoga. That sounds nice.
But
Wish I was that girl.
you still smile and you still go to work every day. So it's like, I know this, you're busting your ass as a single mother, as a person raising 2 kids. Even though Dee's out in college, you still, raise 2 kids. And you're doing this on the side. Like, how fucking great of a woman can you be? You remind me a lot of somebody I know.
Over there. And I appreciate that. And what else? Like, what other
off.
choice do I have? I don't think that you should give that much credit because I either do that or what? I don't do it. I don't take care of my responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, what were my choices here?
But,
I just don't.
I think you like doing it. Don't
I
you?
do.
Like,
Absolutely. I do.
You complain, but you smile. You're like, tomorrow
It's like
I'm
a
gonna be
good
back.
hurt.
Yeah.
Like a good hurt.
Yes.
Yeah, I stopped in to double check that you were coming in this week, and you looked at me, you're like, Al, of course, I promised you I would. But as I was there, you're not only running the store, you had gloves on, and you were painting furniture. You were sprucing furniture while running stores and doing this.
Sprucing furniture. Is that what you just said?
I did.
I love it. Just kind of like homely. I love it. Let's keep that word. I did.
Now, homely will take out.
No, please, no, not fair. That's not fair. I like it. It's funny. It's
Thank you.
But so I literally walk in and I was like, "Hey, Morgan, just want to make sure we're still on for Sunday." And she's literally sprucing furniture. She's sprucing.
He means painting. Just I was, redoing a frame, but yeah.
Yeah, but it was just like you do all of this and you're doing it by yourself. And that's really, really impressive, Morgan. I think that's I really want to shout out to Gypsy Fix.
Truly, thank you.
And your son always talked really well about you, and so does your daughter. And I think everyone around the neighborhood knows how awesome and how amazing you are. So, how long have you lived in Flossmoor for?
Goodness, about 21 years now, which sounds insane. Like, when I say that out loud, I think, how the hell am I old enough to have lived somewhere outside of my childhood home for that long? Apparently, I'm old, but that's the truth. I mean, I am thinking about 21 years. I've lived in Flossmoor for 21 years. It's a long time.
She's like, how am I old enough? She's like, well, apparently I'm old, I guess.
I mean, I am. It is what it is.
Well, it's a hard to segue from that, Morgan. But, okay, so out of this 21 years, you lived here with your husband, and when did you have Dee? Dee's the older one.
Dee's the oldest, yes. When did I have him?
Yeah.
2005.
Whew. Dang.
Damn, that is a youngster. Jesus Christ.
I feel old.
Me too. That made me feel old, dude.
He was born 2 years before I graduated high school.
See?
So
See?
I was playing Pokemon Sapphire in my bedroom.
I mean, good for you.
I had
Living your
Ruby.
best life.
That's why we're best friends.
Still doing it all the time, right? You boys and your video games, or you grown men in your video games, that blows my mind.
Grown man boys, they're interchangeable at this point.
Yeah, they are, indeed.
And how did you come up with the name Gypsy Fix? Because gypsies ride caravans and have cool jewelry.
Well, actually, there's been a little bit of controversy over the name of the store, which has been really hard for me, and it's made me think about potentially changing it.
But don't, because I had this conversation with, I think, was I talking to you, Matt? I had a conversation about, we Googled it, if gypsy is saying a bad word. But see, I didn't. But that was never my when the store became the store. That's to me when I thought about it, I thought fun-loving, different, movement, happiness. Never in a million trillion years did I ever think that anybody would be offended by me using the word gypsy in the store name. Who's offended? The gypsies?
Well, no. You guys, to be honest, probably I guess it was about 3.5 years ago when I first moved to the bigger space. I got somebody on Facebook, and again, she was a young girl with blue hair that did live in her mom's basement. No offense.
Okay.
Who went on Facebook?
These are true stories.
And she
Facebook warriors, because she's a gypsy.
Tell your truth.
She went on there and said, I'm a racist, and I need to change the story. And thankfully, I did not see it initially, and community members did, and they responded on my behalf. You obviously don't know her. That's just not even the truth.
Yeah.
But once I did find out, it killed me. So I'm like, God, I don't care if what it is or what it's not. I would never want any words that I use to make people feel that way. So I messaged her and said, hey, sweetheart, listen, if you would ever come to the store, you're always welcome. I would love to have a sit-down conversation face-to-face with you so that I can hear, what your concern is or how I've made you feel. Please, though, pop in at some point. Well, of course, she never did. And I waited. I waited to get signage on the building I don't know if you noticed that, on the awnings up until this past spring. So what is that, 3 years? Because in my mind, I always thought maybe she would come in and have a conversation. And had I truly offended her and saw that, I would have changed the store's name. But to put all the signage out was a small fortune that I don't have. So I waited that long. And I promise that affected business at some point because it's not proper signage. People don't know where the hell they're going. It's Flossmoor.
It's all about marketing. People don't know.
Right, but I left it like that for so long, and I did that because I in the back of my mind thought that if that person or whoever ever came to the store to talk to me about it, I probably would have just changed everything because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or be. I'm not a racist. I'm not racist. I would never do anything like that.
No,
period.
but
I live in a neighborhood where I'm the minority, and I love that. I think it's great. Like that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had anybody say to me because it was just like whoa.
But it's not even a bad thing. And honestly, if she would have sat down with you, you literally could have just given her the core for her basement, her gypsy basement that she lives in.
I could have broke down like an LLC class
right.
and
I would say
getting a
Morgan.
business
I would say
license and filing paperwork and all that stuff.
You know what?
Gypsy's
Her basement,
not a bad word. Gypsies, they're a real thing, and it's not a bad word. They're
you know
Romanian. It's not.
I bet you her basement looks more like Gypsy Fix than Gypsy Fix looks like Gypsy Fix.
she has tapestry on the walls.
Maybe.
That
bothered me for a long time.
Hitting our time for the first part.
We usually do about 30 minutes, Morgan, and then we take like a 5-minute, 10-minute break, and then we do another 30. That's
Absolutely
okay?
not. No.
So
it was not in my contract.
I didn't sign for this. I'll pay you later.
Okay.
But before we go, we do Matthias. I'll let you take the first sponsorship.
All right, I'll take it.
All right, we do an advertisement. Do one for Gypsy Fix too. While you're at it, Matt.
So if you ever are in Flossmoor, you're just strolling by a little store, more than likely it's Gypsy Fix among the other stores that are there. You have a great assortment of little arts and crafts like products you can go ahead and choose from. Lola is sporting a fabulous jacket that she got, fall jacket that she got from there. It says pumpkin spice all over it. I don't know about you. Everything nice. But they also have other stores there that are in the shop itself. Shout out to GCA. I got a Be Consistent shirt from him that I still wear to bed because I wake up, brush my teeth, look in the mirror. I go right to school, go right to work. That's the type of reminder you need. Stores like that are among the many things you can find there. And also, I would like to have a shout out to our sponsors, the people who host us here, Sound Growler. Thank you for the beer. Thank you for the good times. Arturo, we love you. And I got nothing else to say. So cheers to you guys.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Thanks for tuning into that Walk That Door podcast.
Hey, everybody. This is Matthew Dill from the Walk That Door podcast here. One thing I really like about just having a nice place where you can get a beer and food is just the environment. And Sound Growler is the place where we not only shoot our podcast, but we also just come here as friends, just fellowship. We just love being here. The workers here are just like among the most friendliest, most knowledgeable, just all around great people. They also have like all kinds of really cool events here. They do live concerts here in the place where, like, on the stage where we shoot the podcast at. All kinds of like local musicians come through here, and also they have some like really out there but really awesome events. They have like figure sculpting or heavy metal yoga, two things I didn't even know that combined together, heavy metal music and yoga, but they figured out how to do it here at Sound Growler. So, come on down. Sound Growler, it's right up on 183rd Street here in Tinley Park. Come here, mention the Walk That Door podcast, even tell them we sent you here, and like they'll welcome you with open arms, But yeah, cheers. Thank you for listening to us, and back to the show.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen and ladies. It's 2023. We don't choose sides here. To Walk That Door podcast, where we're continuously walking in the door so we can get inside Gypsy Fix and buy all the accoutrements needed.
And there's a lot of doors in Gypsy Fix.
How many doors exactly, Morgan?
Wow, you're being serious right now?
No, not. I'm sorry. No. How many different stores?
9.
And they're all currently occupied?
Yeah. Yeah, we never have any empty space, and if we do have empty space, someone's in the process of moving in.
Sorry, or moving out.
Right.
So, aside from you, what else is in there?
We have a beauty supply store.
We'll do a shout out. And do you know all these people?
Of course I do. It becomes like family when you spend that much time with people every single day. We have Product Freak. She's a beauty supply store. Christy, she's lovely. Shonda's lovely. She has a candy store, Rubiella Sweets. We have Tanya. She has Wired. All of these people are great. Marge has a little kids dress store called Sweet Finds by Marge. We have Greg, Juicy Unlimited.
Yeah. Shout out to Greg.
We have Kathy's Creams. We have Allison Turner's Nail Studio. And then we have a new cookie company moving in right now. And then we'll have one space that right now I'm in the process of putting somebody in. So we'll see how that goes.
All right.
That's pretty freaking cool. So how does somebody that's so walk me through it? You mentioned a little bit earlier about this, right? You said it comes out of necessity, because I was talking to you about how awesome you are and how awesome I think my mom is, and like how you have a lot of great qualities, but the best one, I think my best quality about you is how much of a freaking amazing mother you are. And I mean that. And I'm not gonna cry, Morgan. I promise I'm not gonna cry.
You can cry, Ellen. I'm
No,
cool with it.
only Gypsy's cry. But oof.
Now we might get canceled for that one.
Yeah, we'll edit that one out. Yeah,
You might have to.
Yeah, Gypsy's gonna cry. But no, seriously. So how does somebody? Is it like a yearning from inside, just out of sheer motivation to help the children? How does somebody that's introverted becomes the director, a place that makes all these stores and all these things happen in downtown?
And how to make it come together.
I think, truth be told, I think a lot of it just comes from my childhood. Like you know, a lot of people that grow up in like chaos or not maybe the greatest circumstances, you either become that or you know you don't want to be like that. And when I had kids, I remember thinking I want to be so very different than my mom. So I feel like ever since.
What do you mean by that? If you don't mind me asking. We don't have to do all of that.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. My mom, since as long as I can remember, has been a hardcore alcoholic. And in and out of jail, in and out of rehab, in and out of halfway houses, in and out of just everywhere. I've lost count of how many times I've sent her to rehab, paid for rehab, tried to help her at home, tried to do it's been forever. And the last 4 years is probably the longest amount of time where I've kept distance from her because at this point, I just can't. I love her from a distance. If she ever wanted help again, I would be the first one there, but I'm not. I just can't keep putting myself in that position.
Yeah.
Do the kids know her?
They do, and they know all of it. They don't see her because I don't want my kids to see and be around the same sort of shit show chaos that I grew up around because it's tough. So I've kept a healthy distance from them or from my mom with the kids. But recently she called me and we hadn't talked in probably 9 months, and she asked her, so how's D doing in HF? What, Mom? First of all, he didn't even go to HF. Second of all, he's in college now. But just because she's so out of touch, and I don't mean to say bad things. I love her to pieces. Nobody possibly wants to be like that, and I understand. But I also don't think she's ever wanted enough to not be like that. So when you say in regard to how I parent or what I wanted to be, I knew what I did not want to be, and I think that's where my drive came from. I don't ever want my kids growing up and thinking for 1 second that maybe she doesn't care, maybe she doesn't love me, or she didn't pick us first. I will always pick them first, period, and whatever that looks like.
It's a good mama.
Thank you.
That's a good mama right there.
I personally think that's really great because you kind of broke
Yes.
a generational curse.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really important that instead of becoming what you knew, you took that and grew from it and became who you are today, which is a bright light in this community.
A mediocre person.
Right. But and honestly, you guys, and there's a lot I didn't learn too. So you got to think about that as well. Like, yes, I saw what I didn't want to be, but I didn't learn a lot too. And so that's been hard. Like, I feel like sometimes I can be a bad communicator. I don't show my emotions. I don't say, So this has been like, as much as I've learned some great things from, what you don't want to be. There's also a lot of pieces that I missed too, that were things that I should be, but because you don't see that growing up, you're just kind of like, ooh.
You're figuring it out on your own.
Yes.
School of hard knocks.
Yes, and that's been hard, real hard.
It's it goes back to the age-old debate, Morg, and this is why I could sit down and talk to you, because I feel like you're just like us. You believe in reincarnations. Me and you were probably assholes last life.
For sure.
Oh yeah, Jesus, we're
Without
assholes this life.
For sure.
Yeah, we're still assholes, Morgan.
Yep.
But and we're gonna dwell into that later. But with that being said, like I think we have a lot of the same beliefs, a lot of the same systems, and it goes back to the age-old question, like nature and nurture. Right, and so is it instilled in you? And I think a part of it is. I think a part of it is genetic. I think a part of it is you fighting yourself not to be like the people that are in your life.
Absolutely.
But a part of it is nurture. And so you changing your surroundings, in hopes to change your children's future, is a story that I'm very, very well acquainted with. And so, that's pretty cool. But do you think it's more nature? Or do you think it's more nurture?
I don't know. I think it's so hard. I think everyone's different, to be honest. I think, in some scenarios it's equal parts. In some scenarios it's, more one or the other. I think, people call, alcoholism and all that other stuff, it's a disease. It's, it's in you. Like some people they're predisposed to, it being a harder line to walk, where others, like, they don't seem to notice it or miss it at all. So I just don't know. I really don't know. I think everyone's different. It probably can be split down the middle or be more this, more that, just depending on like what your home looked like growing up. Because as weird as things and hard as things were growing up for me, I know that there were people that had it a hell of a lot worse than I did, and that's hard to think. Like that's when I'm like, oof, I should check myself, because I can't imagine. But I'm not special in that regard. I'm truly.
And honestly, that's what I mean, because I was telling Morgan while we did an interview. Every time Morgan's getting excited about something, she taps me in the shoulder. She hits shoulders. Alan, this is what I'm talking about. This is how the Gypsy Fix works. So now I'm gonna
excited or nervous?
Yeah, both. Me too.
Stop hitting the host. No. She can hit you, not the other way around.
No, I'm totally kidding. But what were we saying? Nature, nurture.
Yeah.
See, now I got sidetracked. Thanks, Matt.
It's okay.
I had nothing to do with that. That's all you.
Well, regardless of what it is, like nature or nurture, I would say that you have done pretty well for yourself, because I think your children are, what's the right word that I'm looking for? Not an example. Your children are, they're themselves. Dimitri is himself. He has his own soul, and so is your daughter. But they are,
for sure.
They are a product of you. A product of what you allow them to be. The love that you've carried, the love that you've given them. And like I think it shows. Like when Dimitri walks in, everyone just smiles.
Yeah.
Everywhere he goes. Yeah, everywhere he goes.
Right? Like he does. He's like that kid. Like you feel him when he walks in the room. Like you feel it.
I see his little mullet. Yeah, this is. I hope you see this too, D. Yeah. He calls himself like Theo Von, the Rat King. Sorry, I don't want to get sued. I'm not getting any money for this, I promise. Yeah, Theo Von, the Rat King, and he has a mullet, and he looks just like Theo Von, the Rat King, in Florida. He has a mullet in Florida.
Home of the Gators.
And he's a great-looking mullet-having guy in Florida. And Matt, you have a little touch to that. How's Florida like?
Well,
I heard. There's Disney World. What's the number one thing that people go to now in Florida? I swear to God.
Is it Gator World?
It is Gator World. Listen, you can Google this. People in Florida rather go see alligators than go to Disney.
Is it all because of that goofy ass show?
The Tiger King?
Tiger King?
Yes.
I don't think that has anything to do with alligators.
No.
Oh, shit.
There's a whole gator culture down there. I don't know how to explain it, man.
That's wild.
It's
I want nothing to do with it.
It's called Gator World, and you can feed a chicken and dead cats to alligators.
You can feed the gators. You can.
And
they got a bunch of
beer
other
stands,
stuff there
and you can have some candy while you do it.
No,
you can Mickey's jumping around the corner.
Yeah.
While you feed gators. That's how Florida is.
Florida's wild, man.
No offense to anybody in Florida. Shout out to Florida.
Yeah, but it's wild.
But yeah,
Politics, all of it. It's wild out there.
Yeah, but living there 9 months,
That was long enough.
that was long enough to understand what living in Florida was.
What were you doing out there?
It was just post college. I was just looking for a job. I was working on a fish farm in the middle of a trailer park,
Wow.
and that's Florida for you.
Hold on. So a fish farm in the middle of a trailer park.
Yes.
Jesus.
Classy.
Jesus. That is Florida.
Yeah.
That is Florida.
Character building.
That is character building
Or
right
South Carolina.
there. Yeah, and I got fired from the place too, and I was like, good.
What?
Good.
Fired.
That's perfect.
Hold on. Matt, you went to school to be a marine biologist. How the hell did you get fired from a trailer park farm fishing South Carolina, Florida place?
It was an entry-level job, buddy.
I don't think he fit in. That's probably why.
No.
That's fantastic. I
Yeah.
hope you tell your kids that one.
Can we go back?
I will.
Can we, if we ever go visit D, can we show me where the place is at?
I will.
Let's go back to those
I will
guys.
take you to Grimes Road, Lakeland, Florida.
Grimes Road. That
Yeah.
already sounds shady. If anybody tells me to go to
Sounds a little
Grimes
grimy.
Road, right? And a fish farm in the middle of a trailer park,
Yeah. That's the kind of odd jobs D will be
what were
working.
you fishing?
Lord, I hope not.
That was
He's gonna be dog
breeding
city. He
fish.
called me
You
the other
need a
day.
fish Jesus in your life.
Breeding fish, you said? Mm-hmm. Okay.
For consumption?
Nah, for aquariums. Yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting it was an interesting job, I'll tell you that much.
Is this before or after Alaska?
This was before Alaska. This was right before Alaska. Like as soon as I moved to Alaska, I still had stuff down in Florida and everything, but then I just just took as much stuff as I could.
You told me you had a deposit unit or something
Yeah,
like that, right?
and I had just now gone down there to get some stuff out, and I was just like, dang, there's a lot of stuff in here I could sell, man. Like I saw it, yeah, man. It's just it's wild to take that road down memory lane, especially when you're forced to. So I can understand trepidations about moving and living and dying in Florida.
Well, and like I
That's
wanted.
what you're supposed to do in Florida is die, right? Like,
Pretty
that's
much,
really
God's
like-
waiting room.
Right.
They have the most. I saw a stat that Florida has the most naked white rich people. That ever, because they
Nudist
have
colonies.
Yeah, they have so many nudist colonies and like.
What?
Swear to God, in Florida, there's towns. It's like towns that have their own police departments that are just nudist colonies. I don't think the cops are. I don't think the cops
Wow.
are naked, but like everybody, like they're-
private property.
They have,
They
yeah,
can
they have
do
their own
what they
security. Maybe it's like a Miami police, but
Yeah,
it's like
you pull up to the gate, they knew
it's
too.
on
They're
PD,
like, oh,
right.
this is right off the bat. All right, let's do this.
It's people go to Florida to see alligators and to die.
Or to be
And-
naked.
Or do both.
Right. All at the same time.
Every now and again, you stop in and see Mickey. Somebody just underneath that, sweating their ass off underneath that hat of Mickey, just hugging
Cursing the name of
hugging
everybody.
Kids. For you to work in Disney,
I didn't even take my kids to Disney.
you
That's how
you have-
not into that
hold
I
on,
am.
like either to like just give
Take
me
them to
if-
That's
Universal.
some bad mom
For you
shit.
Yeah,
to work in
Universal's way
Disney,
better.
Way
either
better.
you have to
Way
love kids
better.
or you have to love kids.
I love my kids, but I
No, I'm
never
talking
went
about,
to Disney.
Like, you gotta love your
that
kids.
was also a hard
No, I'm not
pass.
talking about taking people to Disney. I'm talking about for you to work as one of like Goofy or for
yeah,
you to
no.
work as Mickey. I was like,
Also,
for
no.
you to be in that heat hole just so
No.
you can grab. I was like, you have to love kids or you have to love
But hey,
kids.
think about how much.
Because they be holding all the children.
But think
They
about
be
how
holding
much weight
children.
they lose in those suits, man.
Think about what kind of person is behind a suit that is like hugging your kid. That's a special kind of person.
Well, it's Florida. What do you expect?
It's a lot of kid hugging for me. And if you enjoy it and it's really hot and it's humid, like I'm wearing a t-shirt and I'm sweating, so I know whoever's in there is sweating, but he's willing to hug my little sister. No, they're like either like they really love kids or they love.
It's like
kids.
literally the only perk of the job.
Right. This is
And it's a terrible perk.
And honestly, I don't want to get
It's
sued
a
by.
really bad perk.
I don't want to get sued by Disney, so we're just gonna stop here. We're just gonna stop here with that.
Sorry, Michael Eisner. We're sorry. No,
Yeah, out of Florida. But anyway, I was going to say, so I think that you, Matt, and Lola have in common, and I think that you, Matt, and Lola have in common too, is that even though they're not going to contest their success, Matt and Lola are some of the smartest, brightest people I've ever met. And
Stop it.
And they're so introverted, but I don't know how we even got to the point that we're all friends now, to the point that we're actually doing this and we're doing this live. But
Oh,
I would
wow.
consider all of you guys successful, and I would consider all of you guys introverted. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot of. So when you're not talking all the time, there's a lot of room for thinking.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You know.
So
You
you're,
really
so you're
kinda-
saying because I talk all the time, I'm.
That's not
Exactly.
what I
Don't
was
take it
saying.
personally.
You're the
That's not what I'm
introvert's
saying.
bane.
But no, like there is a lot of meditation, thinking, like, my gosh, what is it? Visualization, and then like trying to manifest what you want out of like
Yeah.
your thoughts.
Is that what introverted people do?
Yeah, that's what we do.
I mean, I just think you need the silence if you're going to be doing anything worthwhile or anything creative. I mean, you just, like, for me,
100%.
just input after input, stimuli after stimuli. I'm like, I don't know what I'm thinking right now. So, like, yeah, just
You burn out very quickly.
Yeah.
You know, like you kind of have like a sensory overload
yeah.
sometimes.
It's kind of like a Mortal
Yes.
Kombat health meter. You know, you just keep
Yes.
whittling it down,
Yes.
down, and you just like, okay, I'm dead. I can't do anything. I'm going home.
Yeah.
It's true. Alan, do you ever feel like that, or are you always on?
No, Jesus.
No, seriously, I've never not seen you at like 10, and I mean that in a nice way. Like you're always like in a good mood. You're always outgoing. You're always high energy.
And I appreciate that. Matt said, ugh.
You've seen otherwise, yeah.
Matt said, ugh. Thanks, bro.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that one.
That speaks for itself.
No, I have my down days, and I have
Yeah?
days, but I do love spending time by myself too. It's like I agree with what you guys said. I'm not introverted, but like
Obviously, he said. Obviously.
obviously I'm not introverted.
Obviously.
But I do. There's like the days that I need just to be alone, just to release everything that's been like, you know, like, because like every day you just build up. I absorb everybody at the bar's energy. I try to give it back, you know, like, and so this is constantly changing of like nature's and spiritual energy and all these things that are going on, and it's like it gets fucking tiring. I mean, for you too. You work in the same business. I mean, like,
Well,
not
what
the
do you
same
do?
business.
What do you do in your downtime to help that? Like, is there something you like to do? You like to read? Do you
A
like
lot
to
of
nap? Do you
weed.
like to smoke weed? Do you like to
A
run?
lot of weed.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
Yeah, like, and honestly, shout out to weed. Shout out to legal cannabis in Illinois. If anyone ever wants to sponsor this podcast, yeah, we here in Sound Growler.
You're in.
Yeah,
Down.
we're weed
It's a
friendly
yes.
here. Yeah.
I can't wait to
No,
edit this.
but seriously, can't wait to. None of this is gonna be edited.
No.
All right. So, and then what do you see? So, how do you see your future, Mark? How do you see this ending? How do you see this? So, we're waiting for Ellie to go to high school. I mean, go to college. And then what then?
I don't know. When I think about that, honestly, I feel like I could have a stroke. I just don't know. Like, I'm not. This is probably one of my worst qualities. I'm not a good planner. Most days I wake up and I feel like, okay, how am I going to get through today, and how am I going to get through tomorrow? So when people say,
We
like,
wing things.
what's 6 months like? I'm like, ooh, I can't talk about that. Like, or the other day someone brought up Christmas, and I'm like, why would you even bring that up in front of me? Like, instantly my heart is
Bring that up.
racing.
We're
I'm
sitting
not
here for
talk
Halloween.
about Christmas right now. So I don't know. I mean, I know that I love what I'm doing, and I also know that I cannot continue to work 7 days a week. I'm not 22 anymore. I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing, but there has to be some sort of I don't know, like I got to come to some sort of a position where I can make a little bit of a change, because I don't, like I said, I'm not, I mean, 7 days a week is a long time, and I've been doing it for 4 years, and I am tired.
7 days a week
So you never have a day off.
I don't.
Man.
for 4 years consecutively.
Yes.
Tell me that isn't a hard-working.
But I will say, Sundays and Mondays,
Jesus.
they're shortened. It's a shortened day. It's not, a full day. That's
Oh,
like
don't
5
take
hours.
it away from
But
yourself.
there's always,
Yeah,
like-
don't take it away from
No,
yourself.
There's always like that mini stuff outside.
For sure, but
that
also
you
there is,
think
as hard
about.
as that can be, there is some flexibility. Like when my daughter has a soccer game, I don't care. I will not miss it. I will close the store. I don't care if it's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, Friday, Saturday. I don't care. So I can do that. Otherwise, I'd get fired. I'm late for work all the time, which I'm not proud of. I don't mean to be, but it's like a chronic
Which
thing.
I'm not proud
I
of.
roll in at like 10, 15, and I'm like, shit, thank God I'm self-employed, because nobody else will put up with my bullshit. Nobody. Like, I'm unemployable. at
You're
this
late
point.
again, Morgan.
I know.
HR's gonna have
You're late
word
again.
with you.
And it's crazy because I get up every day at 5 o'clock. So it's not like I'm like, ooh, I just rolled out of bed at 9:45. That's not the case. But somehow
You've been up for
still,
5 hours already.
Yes, I still am late for work all the time.
Well, when you work 7 days a week, it's hard to catch up on everything else around you. That you have a whole household.
I do.
You have a household. You have like things that need to be done, like bills that need to be paid. Your car needs an oil change every so often.
It definitely does.
And
She
yeah,
said
so
he definitely does. She's like, my
So-
brake lights are on.
Basically, yes.
That
no
filter's
joke.
dirty.
I promise you that's the truth.
That filter's dirty.
yeah. So I
Adding
mean,
jumper cables
it's
in the
not
back.
that you're like running late and like failing at something. It's just, like you have limited amount of time to do what you need to do, and
Thank you
sometimes
for
you just got to do it.
making an excuse for me. I appreciate
It's
it.
not an excuse. I'm just trying to make you not feel bad.
Yeah, we're all
and I
adults
think
here.
I think you're doing fine. I think you're doing beyond fine.
Thank you.
So
We know how it feels to be an adult, I think, at
Don't
this
you
point
hate
in our
it
lives.
sometimes? Like when things happen sometimes, I'm like, where's a real adult? Like, I can't do this. Like, where's a real grown up right now? Especially if it's something like scary or if someone's bleeding. I'm like, shit, where is a real grown up? Like, I can't do this. I do. I'm serious.
If only we had Will Chaplow here.
I'm serious.
I know, right?
Shout out to Will Chaplow, our first interview. We're going to have him back in. He was the one of the first EMTs in the 70s and a retired fire chief of Chicago Heights. Shout out Will Chaplow. I know you're going to be watching this. I appreciate you. Kathy, we love your work.
We
Being
love
a
you.
real grown up.
Love your
So
work.
if you need help with someone bleeding, he's got a book for that.
Does he?
Yes.
Yeah.
And and so when talking about, so we talked about the business, we talked about Gypsy Fix. By the way, guys, once again, we're doing this, we're here, we're live, we're gonna share this. This is going on Spotify, this is going on Instagram, this is going on YouTube, and I'm gonna petition iTunes to get me in there too. And we have a writer's strike going on right now. Me and a whole bunch of writers from Hollywood.
We're
on a strike.
independent.
We have a strike. We have a strike going on, but as soon as that ends, we're going to be on iTunes, folks. And look out for us, because this podcast is coming in hot. But with that being said, growing up, I was also raised by a single mother, right? So my mom was always very, very hardworking, as are you, and I really appreciate that. But I was always very open to her, maybe dating people. I just never saw her. I never saw my mom bring around another guy. I never saw my mom. But also, granted, I was always at school. She was always working. We see each other, the hugs, every now and again we go out for dinner. But how is a dating life after being divorced and having 2 kids and working 7 days a week?
Wow, that's a big one. I mean,
Right?
it's something that I really didn't think I'd be open to. Like your mom, I didn't bring people around my kids. Like I just felt like they were too old. There's too much going on. Like there was no sense in bringing an outside person into, especially with a son, right?
Yeah, with the defensive sons are more
Absolutely,
defensive.
absolutely.
Your guard dog,
And
yeah.
by accident, I started dating someone a little over a year ago who I met through my daughter, ironically, but she didn't realize it at that point. And I was real quiet about it forever. And then all of a sudden, my kids would say things like, "Hey, Mom, how come my friend said she saw you running with Mr. Butler?" I'm like, "Because your friend's a liar. I don't know what you're talking about."
Your friend's a lying little kid.
That happened enough times that I had to eventually tell them.
All right, your friend was telling the truth.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
I didn't
Charlie
call your
Murphy.
friend a liar. Right.
Charlie Murphy, I'm sorry.
But he's been, Joe's been different. Like he's paid. Like I don't know. Like I promise you, I wasn't easy because I just think that I had so many failed relationships. I never really had a healthy relationship in that regard. So I think I was behind
Just with
the
your
eight ball.
kids?
Yeah, like there's just so many things I didn't understand because I wasn't used to someone being like, "How was your day?" And then you tell them because I felt like no one really asked. Like growing up and so you just all these years of being a certain way and not communicating things because I just thought like, well, why would anybody want to know? So like having to learn that with Joe has been a lot, and he's so patient and he takes the time. Like if I get mad or he gets mad, he's like, "All right, well, let's sit down and have a conversation." I'm like, "Huh?
What's this conversation thing?
For real though, but it really in the last year or so, I feel like I've learned more from him and his patience than I have in a really long time from anyone. But also, it just goes like he's great at his job. He works with kids. Like right? Like
Yeah.
exactly.
Patience
And
is his
loves
middle
it.
name.
No, and I want to get Joe on the podcast. So, hopefully I'll get him in the podcast. He's a teacher at Parker, correct?
He's a dean now at Oakland Community High School.
Oh,
And
all right,
when
nice.
I tell you, how some people you just see were put on this earth without a doubt to do
help
something.
kids, yeah.
That's like with him. Like when he tells me about his job, like there are days where I'm like, God, how do you do that? I would hate these children. But like that's not his approach. Like he's so good at what he does that it's crazy to me.
But it's like it goes back, Morgan. Everything ties back to what you said. Remember when we were talking, you said whatever you are good at and you love.
Yes,
like that's the thing.
yes.
Because what you
Yes.
do 7 days a week, no offense, I'd fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I couldn't run Gypsy Fix 7 days a week. I'd blow my brains out because it's so boring. But you're awesome at it, and you build this little empire that now became all these little different storefronts. You know how much business you're bringing to Flossmoor single-handedly because you decided to do this? And then you see what he's doing. And then to us, that's like, that sounds boring. But to him, he's like, I love this. You know, like me and this podcast. Like, this is not going to work at all. This is going to fail.
Find your passion and it doesn't feel like work.
Exactly. This is failing. This is for sure failing.
No, it's not.
No, but it's okay. It's okay because I love it. Because I love it. And I'm just joking. This is not going to fail. I'm trending. I'm trending on TikTok. Don't worry. I meditate. It's okay. I'm not trending on TikTok, but we should.
I barely know how to use it.
Right. We're gonna be trending on TikTok soon. So and you were like, you know what? I'm not easy. And like for him to break down the walls of a single mother, a single bull strong mother, there's only one other person that I've known that was able to break down the wall of a single strong mother, and it takes a special man.
It really does.
Give him a harumps for us, would you, Lola? Play him a harumps.
For sure.
You can't hear it, but it's a harumps.
Hopefully, I'll get Joe here to talk about just what it is like dealing with kids and being a dean and working in the store.
Your ear off.
I know
he will not run out of things.
He's gonna come smiling. Like we came in nervous. We came in nervous. He's gonna come in smiling.
I'll be like,
he's always smiling, isn't he? Yes.
Always. Like the man does not do anything but that. Like, and I remember too when we first met. I'm like, is this for real or is he crazy? Like, how is somebody always this nice and positive? I'm like, there's got to be rocks in his head, right? But then I find out over time it's not. And the fact that he's got 5 grown children that come home every Wednesday night to have dinner with dad, that did it for me. Like you cannot have been a good parent, right? Like you cannot be a screw up in life or not be a good parent and have adult children that come home every Wednesday night to have dinner with their dad. That just doesn't happen, right? Mm-hmm. And my kids love them too, so that helps.
That is helping. Just so you guys know, hold on, we're almost coming up in the 30-minute mark. I have something here in the podcast. We like giving our guests a gift. I just have to do a few advertisements, and then right before we go, I'll get this closer to the camera later. I'll take a picture of it. This is for you, Morgan. It was the most gypsy-ish thing I think I could find. And I didn't want to buy it from your store because you just hang it right back on the shelf. Like I'd pay you for something, give it to you, you put it right back on the shelf.
I would not.
With the same price. You put the price tag back in. I took the price tag off and just put it right
slander. Don't say that to her.
So this is for you. It says family. Yeah, it takes love to make family. So
thank you so much.
And
so much.
I really wanted to say I have my great friend Cynthia and my great friend Yvette Zavala. Yvette started her own catering company, and so it is called Phoenix Marie LLC Catering Company, and they will do anything you guys need. They have an extensive menu ranging from anything you want, from sausages to potatoes to dishes to anything. And these ladies, anything you want, honestly, they make fantastic food. And also, with that being said, I also want to do a shout out to the Bistro on Sterling. Bistro on Sterling, fantastic owners. We have a great staff. They're also located right down the street from Gypsy Fix. So after you buy yourself a nice trinket, stop in for a drink. They have great food. They have a great atmosphere.
Great bartender.
But I was gonna say, baby, the bartender is miraculous.
Shout out to Greg.
Let me just say, shout out to Greg. No.
I'm just kidding.
Greg's the shit.
They have a fantastic bartender.
That was great.
Be all right.
The Bistro in Sterling is everything about it is good, but the bartender is fantastic. She says, "Shout out to Greg." Thank you.
Greg's good. He's great.
It's wonderful for sure.
Catch him on Fridays, y'all.
Alan's okay. Alan's pretty all right.
Yeah, his drinks are all
He'll
right.
make a great Cosmo though.
1040 Sterling Avenue. The bartender is miraculous. The bartender is honestly, I've never met somebody that shines so bright. I've never encountered.
That's a lot of grease then.
I've never encountered another man like this man. This man has passion and fire behind his soul and his eyes, and he transudes through his drinks. And I think I just made the word up. I don't think I did the word. But before we go, Morgan, thing number 1, do you believe in aliens?
I don't know. I gotta be honest, I really don't know. No, I don't, if I'm gonna say no. But I believe in a lot of other like screwed up shit, so I don't know that means
conspiracy theories.
All sorts of shit. I believe in ghosts and all like other things. So but aliens not so much. Do you?
I do.
Okay, good.
All right then.
Open-minded.
It's 2023, baby. We don't judge here. And also illegal alien. Come on. I'm just kidding. Before we go, Morgan, we like to do this. Before we end. I just want to give you a platform. One last thing you want to say to the world, to the crowd, to the paragraph, a phrase, a mantra, something you like to live by. One last message you want to send out to anyone that's going to listen to this
That is
podcast?
some serious pressure. I'm pretty basic, but I don't know, like, just be nice to people.
There's no right or wrong answer.
It's so
More.
much easier to smile and be kind, like you brought that up tonight about, like, oh, I'm always smiling. It's just easier. It's so much easier to be nice to people, to strangers, than it is to not be. Like, I just, like, adapt that. Like, it makes life better. I think it's good energy. It's good karma. Just be nice to people. Makes a difference.
Guys, we interviewed Gypsy Fix. Just be nice to people. This is Walk That Door podcast, and thank you for listening. Please make sure you like and you subscribe. We're going to put Gypsy Fix's address and the link below, and we're also going to put ours. Please
My
make sure you
Venmo,
like it.
just kidding.